I am in my brand new facility for the first time doing a live video for anybody. And so I'm incredibly thankful to be able to do this for Lifepro today, because you are all seeing my brand new renovated building has not even opened up yet for the first time. And you get to get a sneak peek while we are launching our newest product, the Swift Treadmill. So we are streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you could give me an idea of kind of where you are watching from. We are not having a contest today, not giving anything away necessarily, but we do have, like I said, this new product that we're releasing officially tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time, but you can order it for only 3 hours after I share with you all the details about it, and you're gonna get it at 20% off for $349.99, and then you get 20% off of that. So, oh, super excited. We're like, Indiana is in the house. Love it. Okay. Where else are we all chiming in from? I see a bunch of eyeballs starting to pop up here. And so let me know kind of where you're coming in from. I'm East Coast in Indiana. We've got Oregon here. Nice to see you today, Judith. So excited. So I got a chance to play around with this device several months ago. And for those of you who have grandchildren, or you've got kiddos at home, or maybe you are on the shorter end of the stick like I am, I'm like right between 5'4" and 5'5". And so if you want a treadmill in your home that is user-friendly to those of us who are on the shorter end, or for children, teenagers, if you are maybe in the senior population and you're wanting something that's a little more user-friendly that doesn't take up as much space, this is your treadmill, and it's called the Swift. We just finished up with Prime Week and Prime Day with Amazon. And so I also want to share with you the top 3 items that we sold a bunch of products on this last week. And they happen to be my absolute 3 favorite products that Lifepro makes. So I want to share with you what all of those are, because I know there are many of you out there who are wanting to upgrade your whole body vibration platform. And if you already have a platform and you're wanting something more intense, or you're wanting to get more benefits than what you're experiencing at our entry-level platforms, the Wave or the Turbo, then you're gonna get to see what my 3 favorite platforms are, and they happen to be the top sellers of the week on Amazon and for Prime Week through Lifepro. So excited to see everybody here. I'm seeing a lot of different people popping in here from all over the place. So welcome. Okay, so behind me, right here we go, is the new Swift Treadmill. As you can see right now, it is folded up, and it folds up really small. I'm going to be carrying around my screen so that you can see both sides of the treadmill, because we don't have a flip screen on this software platform. But what I want you to remember is 20% off for the next several days, 3 hours from right now. You can go ahead and order it now as a pre-order. It officially launches tomorrow at noon, so it won't ship out until tomorrow, or it won't be processed, I should say, until tomorrow. But for the next 3 hours, you will have access using the link provided to be able to order this Swift Treadmill if you would like to have this in your home for convenience. And I will tell you a little insight. Our treadmills sell out record fast. I don't know if it's because we don't provide as many of them, or if they're just that popular, but our the electro slide and the Pacer both sold out incredibly fast as soon as we launched them last year during the holiday season. So the Swift is our smaller version treadmill to be used at home with little kiddos, or I should say not little kiddos, but those of you who have kids at home, I would say like that 8 to 12 year range, who are really wanting to kind of get going. And then of course we got to jump into the teenage life between ages of 13 all the way up to us that are short and want a treadmill that is more user friendly for those of us that are shorter. So that being said, if you are taller than 5'5" and you are wanting a treadmill that runs 0 to 10 miles an hour, this is not the one for you. So I don't want you to order it. You get it home and then you happen to be really tall and you're not happy with it, because the belt is just not made for somebody who's ultra tall. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with sharing with you all these little benefits. Hold tight for a second. I felt the urgency to sneeze. Excuse me. There we go. Bless me. Okay. So up to 5'4", we've got 15 different programs on this. I'm going to go ahead and show you how this folds and unfolds. So we have this little screw here on the end. Let me slide you all forward so that you can see how awesome this device is. Okay, there we go. Now you can actually see me reaching for this handle. So right here is our pull lever, okay? So we're going to pull that, which then releases the belt. And you can see from the looks of it, that is how long and wide the actual belt is, okay? Now up here on the screen, okay, once I actually, let me make sure, there we go. So we've turned it on. We've got our speed, our distance, and our calories. So those are your 3 different modes of operation that you can work with, okay? And then we have our speed buttons here, so you can go from 2 miles an hour to 4 miles an hour, super quick without having to push anything else. We have our safety button here. We have 6 miles an hour. I'm sorry. Yes, we have these other 2 speed buttons. You can go 2 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, 6 or 8. This is not a progressive incline decline. So what that means is whatever incline you start it with is what you're going to keep it with. So it doesn't have a motorized incline. It just has motorized speed 2, 4, 6, and 8. You got your start button, your stop button, and then programming button. And so as you're going to see here, you can see there on the screen, the programming button is changing as I tap the button here. And we're working our way through all the way to 15, and then we're back to our manual mode, all right? So that being said, let's go ahead and turn this on and see how this baby rolls. So here is 2, and we're gonna hit start. And it's giving you a countdown, so fun. And there we go. So now we're running. Okay, so that's your 2 mile an hour run speed, okay? And if we tap 4, you're gonna see it's gonna speed up at 4 miles an hour. And 6. And I'm gonna turn this around so that you can actually see this running. Nice and smooth, but it is very short, so you don't wanna be tall and get this device and it's too short for you. Okay, and so here we go again. We have cup holders. We've got hand sensors here, okay? And then again, we've got our little safety button. All right, so that being said, I'm trying to look at this backwards, so my apologies for moving the camera around a lot. If we have to just stop, we can stop and it kills the switch quickly. We have our mode button here. The mode button is going to take us through the different program options. So there's our mode button. And so that is going to be able to give you the different modes that you can measure from. So time is one, distance is another, and calories is the other. Now, this does not have the heart rate strap that our other 2 treadmills has. So if you have a heart rate strap of your own, you can still use that with the app that you might have on your phone, but this does not have a chest strap that works with it so that you can run your heart rate all at the same time. All right, so, and then last but not least, we have our tablet holder here. So if you have a tablet that you're wanting to watch, or you want to look at a book or listen to an audiobook while you're participating, you have the option to do all of that with the treadmill. Okay. Now, the beautiful part about all this is how easy it is to fold back up and how easy it is to move around. So I'm going to show you that. Let's see if I can adjust this. There we go. All right. So all we're going to do, hold on a second. I'm missing a part. Wait for it. Good stuff. There we go. Okay. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to, first things first, I'm going to power off. And after a while, it'll power off on its own. So you don't have to worry about that. Now here, we have this pull knob. So I'm going to pull this knob really tight until it locks in. You heard it lock in. Now it stays put. Now as a safety apparatus, we have this knob here that we can put down at the bottom. And then again, in order to unfold it, we just pull this knob and it lowers down. Now, what I want to make sure you remember to do is to power off, and it's super, super easy to move around. So I want you to see how easy this is to move around. I powered it off, and I'm going to unplug it. There we go. And from here, there we go. Super easy to move around, although I'm on turf, so turf is a little bit harder to slide around on. But on carpet and on a hard surface floor, not too hard to move around. But on turf, turf is a little bit harder to move on. So if you have indoor turf at your home, it is movable, just not as easy as moving it on another surface. Okay, so again, we plug this in. There we go. We're gonna pull this knob right here. We're gonna lower this back to the ground. And then we have another security knob. This is your extra security knob, okay? And then the extra security knob is gonna go down here at the bottom. And then there we go. Okay. All right, now here's what we're gonna do. I am going to give you a little demo of how this works, and then I'm gonna go back through and share with you our best 3 devices, which happen to be whole body vibration platforms, my favorite. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to flip the switch back on. Gotta do that. See, it has all these different safety features, which is great. Okay, so now we are going to, I'm gonna start at 2 miles an hour because I don't want to work any harder than that at the moment. Okay, and so we're gonna jump right on into 2. There we go, and as you can see, because I'm so short and the length of the belt is short, if you don't have a good pace, you're gonna walk right off the edge. So that's why if you are taller than 5'4"-ish, you do not want to opt for this unit because it's made for somebody who's shorter or for an entry-level walker. So if you are an expert jogger, runner, you do not want to order the Swift. You're going to go with the Pacer or the Electroslide, because with this one, the way that this one is designed, it's going to be too short and too narrow for you to actually jog if you are an adult of 5'4" or taller. Okay. So the overall treadmill weighs about 64 pounds. Okay. We've got 15 different preset programs on here. You have a max capacity weight of 286 pounds. So if you are somebody who is buying this for somebody else in your family who has got, maybe it's somebody, a youngin who has an obesity problem, you don't have to worry about maxing the machine out because, again, it's 286 pounds max capacity. When it comes to the motor, I'm going to go up to 4, see how fast I can keep up. Okay, woo! There we go. It's a lot, right? Time out. Going back down. Okay, so I'm going to drop this back down to about a 3 because otherwise I'm not going to be able to talk to you. Okay, there we go. All right, so when it comes to the motor, it's got a 0.75 horsepower motor, 60 hertz of amplitude, goes 0 to 10 miles per hour. And again, mentioned before, it's got 3 different training modes: your time, your distance, and your calories. Woo! Getting me a workout in today, guys. And then, most importantly, we have our safety switch that automatically kills the unit. And the unit will not turn on unless you have that. So the unit width-wise is 15 inches wide. That's the width of the belt. So not a whole lot of space, especially if you've got big feet. And then the full length of it is just right short of 40 inches, 39.6 inches. Okay? All right. That being said, back. Yes, Pat, super excited to see you today, man. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so for the next 3 hours, you can order this, and you'll get dibs on it from everybody else's standpoint, because again, a lot of our treadmills have sold out as soon as we've released them. So if you're interested or thinking about it, now's the time. So you can click on the link that they are providing in the chat box here, and they'll take you straight to the sale. And then from there, you're going to get 20% off of the price. There we go. Awesome. And then from there, It'll be released tomorrow at noon so that you can actually receive it next week. And I'm telling you, Lifepro shipping is like record fast, like lightning fast. Like you have your device very, very quickly. Okay, yes. Super excited about that, Adriana. So if you have any questions once you get it, or if you're curious about this one versus the others, then let us know and we'll be happy to guide you if needed. Okay, next up, my other favorite devices. Hang tight for me as I get my other viewer situated. Okay, now we have sold a bunch of these over time. But I'll tell you, this last week has been crazy busy with the Rumblex series whole body vibration platforms. This one right here is the Rumblex 4D, okay? And then our Rumblex Plus, which is completely flat. And then we've got, moving across the treadmill, and then we've got the Rumblex Pro. Those are the three most popular devices across the board. Now, while I've got you here, I'm going to show you my sloppy mess. This one right here, kind of serving as my toolbox, or should be tool storage. This one right here is the Rumblex Max. It has a max capacity of 550 pounds and 16 preset programs. But I find that this one, if I'm doing upper body work with, this one is going to be a little over the top for my liking. But if you're like wanting to get a lot of beefy motors, this is the one. The Rumblex Max is truly packs a punch between the three motors. I just find even on the lowest setting, it is really hard to do stuff low intensity on the Max. So, and again, it has a max capacity of 550 pounds. Okay, going back over here to the Rumblex. This is the 4D. And this is, you guys are seeing me in all different ways. Upside down, sideways, just however we can make it happen, right? Again, that's just kind of one of the limiting factors for the different software that we use for our different live versions. I don't have a little flip screen that I do in some of the other stuff that we do. So my biggest apologies for getting all upside down and doing all kinds of crazy movements. All right. You guys have all heard I've lost all this great weight and I've toned up. Now I'm showing muscles that I've not had before and totally loving life. Little insight for you. I've not actually done a workout in several days. I've stood on my platform, but I've not actually done a workout. So on this one, this is the Rumblex 4D. If you want my insight opinion, if you're wanting to lose fat and you're wanting to shake up the junk in the trunk, the Rumblex 4D, in my opinion, the P2 program is as aggressive as our devices get. Each one of the Rumblex units have 3 different motors. The more motors you have, the more stimulation of your fat molecules and your fascial connective tissue that you're going to experience. When you have 2 motors, you're only getting a certain amount of stimulus in a different plane of movement. So with the Rumblex 4D and with the Plus and the Pro and the Max, you're going to get the oscillating motor, which sends you like in a teeter-totter fashion. You're going to get the lateral mode, which is going to take you like across the table, side to side. And then you're going to get the pulsation motor, which is stimulating your feet through vibration underneath. Why is pulsation important? Because 80% of the neuroreceptors that give your brain feedback of where you're at in space and center of gravity exist only on the skin on the bottom of your feet. And so if you can stimulate that with hyper vibration, then you are going to make those little receptors very, very happy, in addition to your body having to learn how to counter movement side to side and from a teeter-totter fashion. So if you're dealing with balance problems, or if you're wanting to work on mobilizing different joints for pain, then the 3 motors make a huge difference compared to having a single motor unit, which would be our Waiver series. The Turbo series has 2 motors as well as the Hovert. So it doesn't matter if it's a turbo press or if it's a turbo boost or what have you. Each one of the turbos has 2 motors, and the Waiver series, the Waiver Mini, the Waiver Micro, the Waiver Press, the Waiver Mini Press, all of those units only have 1 motor. So if you're wanting to pack the punch and you're wanting to flop the flubber out of your system so that you can mobilize it for energy, that's how you're going to lose the fat. That's how you're going to lose the size. And that's how you're going to tone out your body in ways you've never been able to do it before. Trust me on that. Okay. The one thing that makes the Rumblex 4D a bit of a challenge is it has this curve to the sides. So if you have artificial joints in your hips or in your knees, you do not want the Rumblex 4D because it will cause more pain in your joints than what you already have. And the reason being is the way that we stack up when we are on this device, okay? I'm gonna go barefoot because I really like being barefoot. Can't go barefoot on the treadmill though. But when you are on your device and you're stacking up, okay, if you can see my feet are rolled inward, that's not good on our hips and on our back. So to try and keep yourself as level as possible can be a little tricky, okay, when you have this curve. However, on the Pro, it does have a curve, but the curve isn't a huge curve. This is the greatest curve we have. The Rumblex 4D is going to have your remote control, and then it also has the classic exclusive resistance bands for all the Lifepro platforms. And then you're also going to get mini bands, the mini loop bands, which you see in a lot of my videos. Okay, so this being said, let me go ahead and get this set up so you can see my body utilizing this unit. And let me make sure that I can get you all set up so you can actually see me from the whole view. There we go. Okay. So when I get on here, okay, as you can see right now, my ankles and my feet are dropping inward, okay? We want to keep our feet as flat and comfortable as possible if we have artificial knees or hips, or if we have an underlying issue with our foot ankle joint. So that's why the Rumblex 4D can be a little tricky for those of you who have some of those underlying problems because it can create more intensity on those joints. And if you're recovering from something, you want to be in as neutral of a position as possible. So let me just show you how this one works. I love the P2 setting on this, okay? Now, just vibrating away here. And again, you've got the remote. I don't use the remote a whole lot. I might just stand on here. This is the one I keep upstairs in my home. This is the one my whole family uses, not for working out, but for just unwinding and letting the body adjust as needed, okay? So right now, things are just getting warmed up. This is the first thing I do in the morning when I get out of bed. It's the last thing I do before I get into bed, is get on the 4D. Woo, there we go. So now we're just shaking it up, our body feeling good. And as you bend your knees and relax, you're gonna feel even more stuff mobilizing. Yep. And you can't hear it because it's really quiet. That's what's so awesome about it. Super, super quiet. And yes, you're gonna see all my stuff is flopping around. That's what we want because we want all of our connective tissue to remodel. We wanna release toxins. So if you start to itch, you're gonna feel those toxins being let loose in your body, and your body's trying to eliminate it. So if you have to use the bathroom more frequently, if you're sweating and your sweat stinks, if you find that you have a rash breaking out on your skin, that is a detox process, and that's what we want, is we want our body to be able to remodel itself by eliminating toxicity out of our body. Whew, it feels so good. All right, now for those of you who wake up and you've got shoulder challenges, another thing that I like to do is just getting down on my hands and knees and putting my hands on the device. For those of you who are dealing with hip or back issues, if you already have the Rumblex 4D and you go into a seated position, then you can experience this without having to worry about the foot positioning. So yes, super nice. Okay, we can also go into a turned position sideways. We're gonna feel a little bit different here. Again, you don't have a whole lot of room for balance to stabilize, so you just gotta make sure that you're close, that if you come off, if you step off, that you're still comfortable. So that being said, if you don't wanna be on the top of the platform and you wanna be over here off to the side, that's okay, all right? Let me take a look at these questions. Yes, Chuck, I would avoid it. If you're 5'4", I would say you're gonna be at the very high end of being too tall for it, because again, I was doing some walking on it and I'm like right at 5'5", and the length of the belt is too short for me, but it's still good. So, you know, I'll leave that up to you. And if you decide that you want to try it, and if it doesn't work for you, you've got 30 days to send it back. And Judith, yes, it's always best to bend at the knee, because we don't want to lock the knees out. When we lock the knees out, we are then exposing the menisci to too much intensity between the femur and the tibial plateau here. So we don't want the meniscus to have additional stress. So by keeping your knees just slightly unlocked, you're going to feel it more in your hips, in your back, and in your legs. And then if you get into a squat, you're really going to feel it in your thighs and in your booty. It's a really good feeling, okay? Now, if we're trying to work on, let's say you've got sciatica and you're using the Rumblex 4D, the one thing with the Rumblex 4D, it does not have a screen lock and it doesn't have a sound lock, but on the Rumblex 4D, it doesn't beep as often as the others do. So let me drop on down here. There we go. So, okay, so here is a good exercise if you've got shoulder pain and you just need to loosen things up. I'm just sitting here chillaxing, as my daughter says. And if you can all see me here, my shoulders are just bouncing around, but I'm not rattling my head and my neck, okay? I'm just holding on to the edge, and depending on where you position your hands, your upper body is going to respond differently to where you are at in contact with the Rumblex 4D. Again, it comes to because it's curved. So if you're looking for the absolute most aggressive for blasting fat and cellulite, the 4D is the go-to. But if you have an artificial hip or knee, or if you have any underlying issues in your lower body joints, then I would be very cautious with choosing the 4D as your primary machine. I'm lucky enough in that I have all three of the units, so I use this one when I'm really wanting to shake things up a little bit but don't want to do the workout. Then I'll get on here as opposed to some of the others. When I actually want to do a workout, I either get on the Plus or the Pro. The Plus because it's completely flat, and so I can get into some different advanced positioning. And with the Pro, I like it because it has a really smooth, seamless surface. And I like having a little bit of the curve to stimulate my inner thighs and my outer thighs. So when you push your body into the curve a little bit more, you experience more energy back. So it's the laws of action. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so when you're on the curve, if you push into the curve, then the curve pushes back into you. So you get a little bit more energy transferred back to you than you do on a flat device. Okay, so there's the Rumblex 4D. Okay, let's move on now to the Rumblex Plus. So I'm gonna move you on over here so you can see the Rumblex Plus. Now, this one was sold out earlier in the week because of the big sale that we had going on. But I have been told that it is since now back in stock. So if you missed out earlier in the week and you're wanting to get the Rumblex Plus, if you click on the link that they're giving you here, I don't think that they're running the 20% off sale on the Rumblex platforms that they were using earlier in the week. But if you happen to decide later that you want to add it into your cart or add it to your collection, and if they're not running any specials and you've already used the email that Joel sends you, then you can use my code, which is Amber10, and that will give you an extra 10% off, okay? It takes care of something small, and something small is better than nothing at all. That was totally not supposed to be rhyme time, but it worked out, right? Okay, so as you can see with this one is completely flat, all right? And when we turn this one on, I'm gonna take you to it. When it's completely flat, and you can see, well, maybe you can see, sorry, there we go. Okay, when we're looking here, we've got the different programs. On this one, with the remote, you actually have the option of turning the sound off, okay? So on the remote, we turn the power on, turn the power off. You can turn the sound on or sound off. So there's sound off. There's to have the sound back on. And then you also have the option of a screen lock feature. So if you want to turn the screen off so that when you're sitting on it, that you don't accidentally turn it off with your booty, then you can use the screen lock button. This is the only device that has a screen lock feature or sound lock button as of right now. So if you are needing that feature for animals, or because people who are sensitive in your home, then this is your go-to for screen lock and for sound control, okay? On this one, it has the 3 preset programs as well, and again, I really thrive with the P2 level. It's going to be just a tad bit different than the 4D, but it still is my favorite. And again, this is my go-to for when I'm trying to do more of a workout with the deeper positioning. If you don't like the texture of the mat on this one, it's quite simple. You just grab a mat that works for you, and you just lay it over the top, and then you can still use your platform as is, with having a little bit of extra cushioning underneath your hands. Now, if you have neck shoulder pain, what you can do, there we go, is just in the hands and knees position, and just head is relaxed. Just let your shoulders vibrate out. I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer so you can see me here, because I love talking to all of you so up close and personal. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, as you can see, it's working my neck and shoulders. If I want more neck and shoulders, forearms, carpal tunnel areas, I can go more forearm. And boy, we are shaking the junk in the trunk up here. Hey, be proud of that, guys. I have a lot of clients that come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to stand on this because it makes them realize like what they're shaking. But let me make sure you understand. In order to lose it, you got to shake it apart. Woo, that feels good. You can move your head and neck up and down, side to side. And again, if that's too much, then you can sit back and just let your arms out in front of you. This feels really, really good too. Just don't bash your head into it by accident. So just relaxing, letting everything break free. Okay? Now, the other thing I like to recommend is if this is too intense for you, then the wonderful thing about the Rumblex series, it's got the 3 motors, but it also has manual mode. So if you are one who's like, what am I missing if I get the Rumblex that I don't get with the Waver or the Turbo? Well, that's quite simple. If you have the Rumblex, you also have the Waver and the Turbo and the Hover. You have every single device we make in the Rumblex. It's an all-in-one. So that means if you're wanting to experience the same intensity of the Waver, but on the Rumblex because you're not ready to move up to all 3 motors yet, then you go into our manual mode, which is a little zigzag button on here. And then you can actually isolate which one of these you can use for the Waver. There we go. So on this one, whoops, nope, I didn't do that right. There we go. Okay, and so here I am on a very basic level, speed 1, oscillating side to side. That's it. And so I'm still getting the same thing if I had a Waver or if I had the Turbo just on one of the motors, because again, the difference between the Waver and the Turbo is the Turbo has 2 motors, the Waver has just 1. All right. Okay, let me see what these questions are. Oh, awesome. Yes. Okay, so Julie, my customer service is going to have to provide you that answer. I know that they send to Canada. I don't know if they send to the UK. So you might reach out to them, but I'm pretty sure we are global at this point. Okay, what is the best technique to lose belly fat? And what about losing arm fat? I'm just going to tell you, you can't spot lose, my friends. You can't spot lose. But if you are carrying adhesions in your upper body, what I'm doing right here and just shaking it all up is going to help you tone it and chisel it out even more. But we can't define where we lose fat one area versus the other because the body releases it as it wants to. And it releases a little bit from different pockets on each and every person, a little different. So we want to make sure that we're kind of accessing from a total body standpoint. And when it comes to yoga and low intensity, when you're calming your nervous system is when you're actually going to lose the fat for energy. If you're doing too much cardio, your body will not give up, it won't give up fat for fuel. So if you're curious about specific exercises, if you want arms, then you just get into positions where you're having to use your arms a lot more. So holding your plank, whether it's up high or whether it's in a low plank, okay? Whether it's going hands wide with the hands turned out. You could even get into a deeper position in one of the yoga poses and just stabilize here. And here we're loosening up the whole body while we're getting a little extra jiggle going on here in the upper. Okay, another one that you can do is you can sit on, and remember this has a screen lock. So screen lock is on, so now if I rub my booty on it, it's not gonna kick off by accident. Okay, so if I want to work on doing like, here we go. I can do like my dips, tricep dips. Okay, so that's a good arm exercise. What I like to do, which you can't see very well from me facing you, but I like to sit with my butt up off the edge, sit my butt on the ground and lift off. Sit on the ground and lift off. Now, these do come with the rubber bands as well. So if you want to lift free weights, you can lift free weights while you're standing on it. You can also attach the resistance bands on the front and you can work arms while you're standing. When it comes to belly fat, you can just sit and hold. There's a whole, I tell you what you do, go to the 21-day challenge and it's going to give you all of the different exercises that are my favorites that I recommend for any one of our devices. I'm going to give specific modifications for making it really hard and specific modifications for making it really easy, depending on where you're starting from. And what's beautiful about the platforms is you can start from anywhere. You don't have to be, a warrior in the weight room. You don't have to be somebody who's overcoming an injury. You can be anybody you want to be and still be able to use the device, whether it's for recovery, whether it's for muscle gains, whether it's doing high intensity. But you'll find I have so many different workouts that I've taught, and they're all different. You can go to YouTube. You can go to the Lifepro Facebook group and find them there, but YouTube is probably the fastest way to find them. But lots and lots of different places that you can find my workouts. And most of my workouts are 30 minutes long, and I teach them 10 minutes at a time. So if you're wanting a short express workout and you're wanting to do like 2 at a time, I'm gonna multitask here. If you're wanting to do 2 at a time, then you can work 2 at a time. You can do like 10 minutes and then go off and run some errands and do whatever you gotta do. You can do another 10 minutes later in the afternoon when you've got some free time. They're all in 10-minute increments before I restart the unit. And then, you can do 3 of them in a row if you want to. So many different options. So make sure that you're able to hit up on YouTube or in the Facebook group for the different workouts. And what I would do is when you're looking on YouTube to find a large variety, is just type in Amber Lifepro platform or Amber Workout Lifepro. Because anytime I title my videos, it always includes Lifepro and it always has my name and vibration. So that's how you're gonna find it. Okay, so this one is completely flat. So that's a good question. You can, okay, so why can't you do more than 30 minutes a day? You can, you absolutely can. And so what I teach everybody, I want you to go back and watch the video that I did last week. We did a 2-hour seminar last week on weight loss and hormones, and I talk about that. You can do as long as you want to. So if you go an hour a day, if you do 30 minutes 2 or 3 times a day, and you're doing a lot of resistance, you can do that as long as it doesn't make you feel worse. So if you do a 30-minute workout straight through and you wake up the next day feeling really nauseous, or using the bathroom more, or you've broken out with a little bit more acne or in a rash, then dial it back a little bit and do that for another day and just see how your body handles it, because the unit is working much more than what you can imagine. It is causing 90% of your myofibrils, your muscle fibers, to shorten and lengthen, like little twitches, anywhere from 10 to 50 times per second, depending on how adhesed you are and how your body is mobile. So if you are able to do a 30-minute workout and you feel great, and you want to hit another 30-minute workout later in the day, then by all means do that. But I will tell you this, what we do know about hormones is if you do a workout longer than 30 minutes, you're going to start releasing stress hormones. And when you release stress hormones, your body does not allow you to lose fat at the same rate of release. So I recommend, if you're wanting more than one workout a day, do one in the morning or one at noon or lunchtime, and do one later in the day. And you can do yoga later in the day or in the morning, and then you can do more of a resistance cardio workout. So many different options, but less is better, because on these devices, you're activating so many more muscles than if you're just exercising on normal ground. Okay, what do you recommend for recovering from abdominal surgery for a burst appendix? Okay, good question. This right here, what I'm doing right here, is just sitting on it, okay? Just sitting on this right here, believe it or not, is if you just sit just like this, you're gonna feel it actually working all the way up into you're working up through what's called the deep front line. And the deep front line of fascia actually starts on the foot, but works up through the inside, up through your groin, up through your organs, up through your diaphragm, lungs, and it ends in your tongue. So if you have had a surgery, just sitting on it like I am right now is really good for you. If you feel nauseous while you are on the unit, then go ahead and lower the intensity or just discontinue for the day. The other thing that you can do is you can sit in a stool with your feet elevated on this. So bear with me. Everybody's always asking me about this. Hang tight, watch the platform. All right, coming back at ya. Okay, so we have our chair here. So truly, if you really want to do something more than just standing on it after you've had surgery, then all you're gonna do is have a seat in a chair with your feet elevated, okay? Now, right now, my knees are sitting higher than my hips, which is not always a good thing. So what you can do is you can put a mat or a pillow on top of your chair to raise your butt up so that you're sitting at least at a 90-degree angle in your knee. I don't have my fancy bar stool here that I use in all my videos for the challenge, but if you can get yourself seated a little bit higher, then you're gonna feel it more in your hips and in your low back, okay? If you're just coming off of knee or hip surgery and you're supposed to be working on range of motion, this is not a bad position to be in, but you're not absorbing all of the energy that you would be if you were standing. Once you're able to tolerate all of this from a seated position, then you can easily go to a standing position and just feel the energy here. As you relax the knees, you're going to feel less intensity here in your torso. But if your legs are straighter, you're going to feel the energy going more through your torso. So you're going to have to adapt based on what your needs are from either a seated or a standing or a kneeling position. Okay? All right. Never sure what speed to use with the Rumblex, especially when you have all three plates on. Okay. So when it comes to the speed, I'm going to be honest with you. Depends on what your goals are, Patty. And for me, I like to just choose the P1, P2, or P3 setting because I don't want to think about having to make adjustments to the device when I'm actually doing the workout or just being on the device. So if you want to just start from one of the preset programs, that's what I always recommend. If you are wanting to work more on recovery relaxation, you're going to stay at a speed of like 1 to 15 to 20. It depends on which Rumblex you're on as to which speed. If you're wanting osteoporosis, fat metabolism, weight loss, the higher the better. for doing that. So if you can tolerate going at the high end of the spectrum, then you're going to get more benefit because of the intensity of that, but not everybody can handle that kind of intensity. So if you're wanting to work on more just rest recovery, restless leg syndrome, things like that, then you're going to go on the lower end of things based on how you feel. If you're just getting started on the Rumblex and you're coming up from the waiver or the turbo, make sure that you start with a P1 or P3 program on one of these 3 devices, because the P2 is definitely the most intense, in my opinion, of the 3 preset programs. So if you start with a P1 or a P3, it's gently easing you into that. And then from there, you can work on manual mode and turning all of them on at the same time, or you can do P2, which is going to be more intense. So moving on down here to the Rumblex Pro. I like the Rumblex Pro a lot. Here we go, going for a little stroll here. Okay, we got a lot of blue in my room here. All right, so the Rumblex Pro. A lot of people want to know why the Rumblex Pro is definitely the most expensive that we have, but it's also one of my favorites. So I recommend this one a lot. Now, when it comes to the Rumblex Pro, we have a different remote. I don't use the remote. Like I said, I don't use the remote a whole lot, but the remote is different. You still have your resistance bands that go here on the front, okay? And so when we slide that through the little hole, there we go. That's how you do that, in case you haven't found that video yet, okay? So there's that. What makes the Rumblex Pro so cool, it's always gonna come with the mini loop bands, is you get these special static straps, okay? Static resistance. And I only have 1 attached, but you get 2, 1 for each side. And they don't give and take. They don't stretch and pull. It's just, it's a static strap, which means it doesn't lengthen or shorten. But depending on how you hold them, you can isolate where the vibration travels through to your body, which is a nice thing if you're experiencing pain, because you want to drive the energy into that spot in order to relieve it. So that's one thing. This device and the Vivid are the only 2 devices that come with the static resistance strap. And with the Vivid and the Vivid Pro, it is referred to as linear vibration. So it's a totally different type of vibration that we don't have on one of the other platforms, okay? And it's just 1 motor. The Pro also has these bungee straps. And you don't see me teaching a whole lot with these, not because I don't like them, because I love them, but not everybody has a Rumblex Pro. So when I'm trying to teach a workout, I want to make sure that I'm able to cater to as many individuals as possible so that we can provide them, we can provide everybody with different options. You cannot order the static straps because there's no way to attach them to our other devices. They only come with on the Rumblex Pro or the Vivid. Those are the only 2 models that are made because they attach here on the top by a special bar. So the static resistance straps, and those are adjustable. So you can lengthen them or shorten them however you need to based on height. Okay, now with these, the bungee straps, these come with, the Rumblex Pro is going to come with 2 of the 20-inch and 2 of the 24-inch. You're going to get 2 of the wrist ankle straps, and you're going to get 2 of the handles. And then you get these 2 Velcro straps, which anchor in here to the top, here on the side. Hold up, make sure you can see that. Okay, you're going to be able to attach them here to the side. Okay, and in doing that, you can do all kinds of exercises standing vertical with those bungee bands. And like I said, I just don't teach a lot of workouts demonstrating with the bungee bands because I don't want to penalize those who don't have them. So if you are one who has the Pro at home and you want more workouts with the Pro, I can definitely accommodate that and make that happen. I just want to make sure that most people understand. I try and cater to as many different people for their needs as opposed to isolating those who only want to buy the Pro. Okay. Okay, I want to know if I use the machine daily, my skin will become loose because the vibration. No. Okay, so here's a little secret. Your skin is not going to just hang on you. In fact, it is going to mobilize. It's going to allow your skin to move more freely, but it's not necessarily going to hang on you, because when you are able to release the fascial restrictions holding your skin in contact with the fat and underlying structures, then you're able to actually start building tone so that you can fill the muscle out, which makes the skin appear more toned and curved. Trust me, I have lost 50 pounds and I do not have skin hanging on me. It is filling out different because of how this device is now working. So just because you're losing size, losing weight, you're not going to have skin that hangs around, because you're mobilizing the fascia that holds the skin too. In fact, you're going to see a nice reduction in cellulite appearance because we're separating the adipose from the fascia, which then allows everything to move. Yes, it does tighten the skin. I would agree with that. It tightens things and makes things look definitely you look younger, in my opinion, as you continue to thrive with the different whole body vibration platforms. Okay, now on this one, we do not have a screen lock or a sound lock feature. So you're going to have to choose manual mode or one of the 3 preset modes. And again, on this one, I really like the P2 mode because it just gives you a wide assortment of things. So let me go ahead and get that started here. I'm going to back this up just a notch so you can actually see everything happening. Camera angles can be tricky. Okay, so gonna turn this on. Now, the manual mode is gonna be the one that looks like a little wrench. And the preset program mode is the one that looks like a little gear. So I'm gonna go into gear P2. And this one's way closer to the camera because I've got it positioned different in the room. So we're gonna do this. Okay, so yes, so now I'm just going to tell you, of all of the different Rumblex devices, in my professional opinion, based on using these devices for the last couple of years, the Rumblex Pro, in my opinion, is probably the most gentle when you have it in the P2 program. It still packs a punch compared to the other devices that we have, but I don't think that P2 is as intense as the Rumblex 4D or the Rumblex Plus, but just by a little bit less, not by much. You know, I don't pay much attention to the different measurements when you're looking at the hertz and you're looking at amplitude, because those kind of numbers get really, really tricky. And depending on how the machine is stimulating each person individually is going to be whether those numbers really matter. For me, just being able to break free a lot of this stuff and being able to move better, this one is a real gentle one, which is really good for anything upper body, because the closer your head and chest, neck and shoulders are to the device and to the vibration, the more aggressive it is for the upper body. So I love, if you're wanting to do a variety of different workouts, especially yoga, because the surface is bigger. If you have big feet, so if you wear a size 12 shoe or bigger, you're definitely going to want to resort to the Rumblex Plus or the Rumblex Pro, because it has a bigger area of support. But I like that you have the option of the curve if you want the curve, but you don't have to be on the curve. You know, if you want to be closer to the inside, it's completely flat. And even on the outside, I'm still able to modulate that curve a little bit. So I have a little bit more control. Okay. Yes, it's awesome. You can never, I don't think you're ever too old to use this unit or to make your body look a certain way. I'm 43 years old, and I feel like I look and feel better now than I did even 20 years ago, thanks to Lifepro. So, okay, now, so when we're talking about the different ways that you can use these bands, especially, if you are, let's say that I'm wanting to work abdominals, so if you're wanting to work your belly, you can just hold one side. We can go across like such, working more that punching motion, okay? We can work up and down. side to side. And again, I only have one side because I wanted to leave the other one on in order to demonstrate more. But you can just stay here in position, bringing the bands closer to, taking them apart. We can keep them here close to. We can squat, lift away. So many different things you can do with the bungee straps. But you can also do the same thing with the other straps that come with. So that was the 24-inch I just had. Now I've got the 20-inch. So those of you that want to work arms, we can do arm curls. We can go into a squat position and do more of the extensions back. Not very good posture here in that position because I'm not balanced with the other one, but you get the idea. Again, we can go holding here in the center and just working side to side. So many different things you can do. The static straps. If I'm feeling pain on my left hip, my left booty, okay, I can grip the strap into a little bit of squat and pull really hard towards me, and the vibration is going to go to that side. So if I want to feel it more in my left side, I'm going to pull across to my right side, okay? But when I pull, I'm driving myself deeper into the grip of the plate, which means the plate is driving more energy into me. So you're gonna feel it even more. I can feel this more in I can feel this along my whole left leg versus my right leg right now. A lot. Actually feels quite lovely. Okay, you can get into a reverse lunge, and from here, you can even hold on to one of the cables into a reverse lunge, do some squats, some split squats. Okay, you can step up, step back, add a little curl. Okay, there's so many different things you can do combination-wise. And then again, just because if you're wanting to work your chest more, we can go into a plank position. You can slowly change positions to where you're more hovering. Hover, 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 pushing off. We can go to the side, rotating other side. So many different ways we can do this. The sky is the limit. That's what makes this stuff so fun. We can go into more of a bear position here, dropping down, pushing off. So many different things. Again, the only working out I do is on a platform and using the BFR bands in combination with. I'm in my own gym, as crazy as it sounds, because we've been renovating this gym for the past year. I have not done a workout inside of my own gym. So the workouts that I do, every single workout that I do, I make it live because I want to make sure and maximize my time. So if I do a workout, you all know I'm doing a workout because it's live. I don't do a workout in my own privacy. I try and maximize it and share. Woo! Yeah, so this is good stuff. So just when you thought you'd felt it all, you try the Rumblex, try some different variations of some different movements, and feel phenomenal. So many different ways you can do it. So that being said, you can do rehab, you can do just relaxation. Those of you who have restless leg syndrome, one of the best things you can do for restless legs is just sitting here and just letting your legs vibrate out. Oh, this feels great. Good stuff. Yep, yep, yep. And then from here, I've got some athletes that come in, they want to lay with their legs up, and then just lay back and just chill. So you can totally lay back and meditate. If you've had abdominal surgery, that energy is going to work all the way up through your abdominals, but not as intense as if you're standing on it. Yes, don't forget to breathe, don't forget to relax. It feels so good. And then just when you think you've gotten comfortable, then the program's over. So we've got like 2 minutes left on this guy. Okay. What is the difference between the 4D vibration and the Rumblex Pro? All right, this is the Rumblex Pro, and the 4D is right here. Okay, so essentially the only difference between those two is slightly the curve and the different bells and whistles that come to or come with, but you can see how much of a curve is on that one versus over here with the Pro. Okay, the Pro, it has a curve, but it doesn't have as significant as a curve as the 4D. Now, something that I want to clarify real quick. When it comes to the 4D, all that 4D means is that it has 3 motors and it works in 4-dimensional spectrum. So if you get any one of the Rumblex platforms, they are all 4D. Every single one of them is a 4D vibration plate. The difference being the 4D is the original Rumblex that was released. I've had mine almost 3 years now, and it still works. And I use it in a commercial setting. So, you can do a lot of different things with it, but 4D just simply means it has 3 motors. So when you're working all 3 motors at the same time, you're getting 4-dimensional stimulus and activity, which is a good thing. If you have a turbo or a hover, then you've got a 3D, which means you have 2 motors working in 3-dimensional plane of movement. And if you have a 2D, then that means you would have the waiver system or you would have the rhythm. And both of those only have, or those 2 series only have just 1 motor. So you're only getting 2-dimensional shift in planes of movement because you're getting more pulsation. So they don't move a whole lot. You're just getting the vibration. So that being said, hopefully that clarifies the difference between the 4D and the Rumblex Pro. But again, my favorite 2 for everyday use for anybody who has had any kind of a hip issue or joint replacement is the Rumblex Plus or the Rumblex Pro. If you're wanting max fat loss and wanting to shake things up a lot, the 4D is the original. It is the most aggressive, but it's not so significant that if you can't get it, you're going to be missing out on anything. It depends on the experience that you want. But I can guarantee you, if you are already using a waiver series or a turbo series or one of our 1 to 2 motor units, the Rumblex series is a game changer. It's totally different. And yes, if you have lymphedema, it makes a huge difference with lymphedema. Makes a huge difference with plantar fasciitis. Makes a huge difference with restless leg syndrome. Makes a huge difference with sciatica, with vibrating all the connective tissue in your butt loose, so that you are not carrying tension there where we normally carry tension. So there's so many more benefits that just goes into besides weight loss or fat loss with one of those devices. But the Rumblex series by far, that is our all-in-one. Debbie, I have fibromyalgia. And so fibromyalgia for me, I don't have pain as long as I'm on my devices at least once every couple of days. So now and even my tone, even the way that my body is toning out and changing in visual is much different because of using the Rumblex versus the others. And like I said, I have fibromyalgia, so my body has little bumps and feels like bubble wrap and things like that in certain areas. And certain people, if they grip me a certain way and I don't know that they're getting ready to grip me, it still hurts a little bit. But I definitely don't feel pain on a daily basis like I used to several years ago when I first experienced fibromyalgia. So my biggest problem with fibromyalgia is I have an energy problem. So I have that chronic fatigue. And so for me, if I get on it and get going quick in the morning, it kind of jump starts my engine. And then if I have trouble trying to wind down at night, getting ready to go to bed, it calms my nerves down. So I'm able to relax. So, hey guys, super excited that you were able to join us today. It is after 5 o'clock here Eastern Standard Time. And I don't want to delay your day as much as I want to, I want to be able to spend more time with all of you. Just remember the Treadmill is on sale for the next 3 hours only until it launches tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. And so if you would like to get a hold of one of those and you don't have a treadmill at home and you're under 5'4", then that is the one for you. It'll be offered at $349.99 with 20% off. If you use the links attached here into the show notes, then you'll get first dibs at the treadmill. I don't know what the level of stock is for the treadmills. I know that they sell out very fast. In the last year when we've released the other 2 treadmills that we offer, they always sell out fast. So make sure if you're interested in getting one that you order sooner than later so that we can make sure you get one. And then if you don't already have a Rumblex and you need to move up to one, then you can click on the link below as well, and it'll take you straight to that, and you'll get my discount, which is an extra 10% off, which is Amber 10. So that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to share this with those that are near and far that have questions. And if you missed out on the hormones weight loss talk last week, it was a 2-hour series, and you're struggling with losing fat or losing weight on the scale, jump on that episode, because there's a tremendous amount of information there that should resonate with everybody. But not only that, if you are wanting little nuggets of information, not even about fat loss, but just how your body can work in an optimal level of performance altogether, go back and watch that episode, or take some notes throughout little bits at a time, because not everybody has 2 hours at a time to listen. But just listen to it and capture some of the notes, and then you can listen to it over and over again. I find for me, I listen to my favorite episodes of things that I'm learning, and I'll listen to it over and over and over again. And wherever your mind is at in that moment, whatever you're wanting to listen to, and whatever your brain is wanting to absorb like a sponge, that's what you're going to pick up that episode. And so if you go back like 6 months from now, and if you go forward, 6 months from now and listen to the same episode, you're going to pick up different information because of where your mind is. So anyhow, you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. And remember, when the going gets rough and you start to hurt, Lifepro's got you, and you've got this. So enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend, and God bless you all.